Hola, me llamo Kate Meller, and this is my second language and cultural contact presentation. The things that I did for this presentation, I tried to vary a little bit from what I did on the first. So I did talk with one of my Spanish-speaking coworkers at the hospital that I work at for about an hour. I used Duolingo, which is the learning app on my cell phone, as recommended by many of our classmates. I read a couple of articles on Medline Plus, and I also watched a movie on Netflix called Lo Más Sencillo es Complicarlo Todo. So to start off with, the conversation that I had with my coworker focused primarily on hospital vocabulary and words that would be useful to me in my work setting. So a lot of the times our patients will ask us for things that they need. So I learned La almohada is a pillow. La manta, blanket. La compresa fría is ice pack, like for injuries. El antibiótico is antibiotics. And a favorite phrase for me is pulse este botón rojo obtener asistencia. And that's push this red button for help. So that's what I tell my patients when I'm trying to teach them to use their call light for anything else that they need while they're staying at the hospital. A couple of the other things that my coworker taught me about speaking Spanish is that in Spanish you pronounce each letter, and that's part of the reason that some Spanish speakers have a lot of trouble with pronunciation of English words, because we have so many silent letters. So words like nausea that are very commonplace in my work setting become very difficult as a Spanish speaker would try to pronounce that English word more as náusea, and there's always some confusion there. So that was very helpful for me as well. When I was using the Duolingo app, we did a lot of review of words that I had already learned in this class, but new words that I learned were escribir una carta, or to write a letter, and diario is newspaper, and then a couple animals, el perro, dog, el caballo, horse, and el gato, cat. And so with this being a learning app, there really aren't any cultural practices displayed, but I really do enjoy that this provides instant feedback and that it is interactive and really lets me kind of practice the vocabulary and practice simple sentence structure. Next, I pulled up a few articles on Medline Plus, which is an online health resource that's presented in multiple languages, and the slogan for that is Información de Salud para usted, which is information on health for you. So I think that that's very useful to my career path. So the first thing that I learned was Semanas de Salud is health topics, and that was one of the headlines on one of the pages on the website that I clicked on. And then I read a few articles on strokes, because I do work on a neuro and stroke floor at the hospital. So important learns that I learned for myself are accidente cerebrovascular is a stroke. Repentinos is sudden, so a lot of strokes have sudden onset. Entumecimiento is numbness, one of the symptoms of strokes. And then causes of strokes could be el coágulo is a blood clot, or ruptura de uno vaso sanguíneo is a rupture of a blood vessel, and in that case that would be an ataque cerebral hemorrágico, is a hemorrhagic stroke. So because this is just an educational website, there is not a lot of cultural nuances present on this either, but I did find it very educational for my career. The last thing that I did for this assignment was that I watched a Netflix movie called Lo Más Sencillo es Complicarlo Todo, which is basically translated to the most simple thing is to complicate everything. And I had a very hard time understanding this film. It was produced by a Mexican producer, so that's why I chose this film. However, the characters all spoke very quickly, so I had a lot of trouble comprehending what they were saying. A couple of the phrases that they used that I thought were useful are en serio is seriously or really. Hermosa is beautiful. Seco, dry. Boleto is ticket. Lo siento, I'm sorry. And por amor is for love. And from this movie, it's about a teenage girl who's trying to interrupt the marriage of her brother's friend that she has a crush on. And I did get that from the review. I was very confused on who this person was. But there was a lot of similar teenage antics to what I would see in a typical American film, where she's trying to sneak into clubs underage, and she and her friend do makeovers to be prettier, and very similar things like that. I did find out later that this is reviewed as a poor quality film, and maybe was not the best representation of the culture. So in conclusion, these were very interesting exposures to me to the Spanish language, and it did definitely help me to continue the development of my comprehension. And I did definitely notice that I still have a lot of trouble with how quickly many Spanish speakers speak. So learning the phrase más despacio, or more slowly please, is very helpful to me. And I definitely do still need to continue my practice and exposure even after this course.